If you want a pretty clear glimpse into the chasm of eldritch nightmares that is the current state of political buffoonery in this country, I highly recommend checking out the riveting Supreme Court deliberations on whether or not to ban TikTok. It's basically a bad SNL skit, which is kind of redundant, where you've got these geriatric monsters who think an algorithm is the guy they stole the presidency from back in 2000, high on their own arrogance, thinking they are somehow qualified to dictate to over 100 million Americans what kind of media they're allowed to consume. But it's a national security threat, right? This is actually kind of fascinating in a watching the boat sink and being transfixed by which board snap first kind of way, because the billionaire class, our favorite recurring villain, knows that as of right now, and I really emphasize that this is only true right now. They can't really come out and be like, hey, people are talking too much on TikTok. Like, we control the narrative about national events, and y'all were way too supportive of Palestine on here, and we didn't like that. Well, let me rephrase, since we're hollow vessels of capitalism with no discerning human characteristics. The people who actually didn't like it were our donors, so we need to shut this shit down. Oh, and all that support for Luigi didn't help your cause? Oh, and let me add that this app has taken way too much of our market share, so yeah, too many boxes are being checked here, and it's gotta go. Like, did y'all really have to go so hard after Oprah and the Rock during the Hawaii fires? See, they can't say that shit because people might get a little bit upset. They have to convince you that you actually want the app banned, and they just go back to the tried and true way of getting gullible people to vote against their own self-interest. Give them something to fear and hate. China, our favorite new Red Scare. Pump up that xenophobia. Go look at any Reddit thread about this ban, and you'll see keyboard warriors going on lengthy diatribes against TikTok like they're the protagonist in a poorly written Tom Clancy novel, which is also kind of redundant. It's the old playbook of the oligarch class whenever they fear the pores might be getting a bit too self-aware. You gotta get us back at each other's throats, wrapping our lips around billionaire dicks like we're famished carp. I don't need to go into how is this a national security threat any worse than the meta monopoly man selling your data like funnel cakes at a carnival, because the answer to that has been Jiminy Cricket jerking off in the corner. That's a question that doesn't need an answer because they have their reason. It's justified enough to look good on paper, and will continue hating each other as is the American way. And if somehow TikTok doesn't burn to the ground in the next few weeks, it'll be because of some backroom fucking deal none of us are privy to, where the billionaires get their genitals greased and assholes rimmed. And so here's the thing I want you to ponder. We're struggling to survive, right? We can't afford rent, mortgages, car payments, groceries, like the whole fucking shebang. We're basically being economically fucked out of existence. So we distract ourselves with dumb shit like TikTok dances, and they're gonna take that away too. So here's my question. What do you think happens when they take away the bread in the circuses?
Let's go!